I have got a school visit on Monday, which means I need to clean the rest of my lorica and general armour. And I've done the helmet, you've seen that in a previous video. I've done this section of the lorica segmentata, which means I've got 3 other sections of the armour to do, and I probably need to do the belt and hopefully the scabbard for the sword, and even possibly a bits of the scutum. It's going to be a long day, plenty of coffee, but it's going to be a fun day. Let's see how it goes. When I say elbow grease, invariably I mean grip pad time. Okay, grip pads are what I use in order to get that stuff off the top, so those bits of rust and all the general debris that's formed on top of there. And that means that once I get that off, I can then apply a bit of polish on there and it brings it up quite nicely. Here we go then. I think this has turned out pretty well. So just as a reminder, I use the grip pad to take off that surface layer of muck and bits of rust, and then I used a generic metal polish. Now, an important point to mention here is that when it comes to, say for example, these, I think they're brass pieces, brass fittings, you don't use the grip pad on them, you just use the metal polish. It takes a while, it can be quite difficult to get in and really shine it up, but you just use the metal polish on there, because if you use the grip pads, you will scuff them up and they won't be too good. So anyway, there we are. I think at least that section, that other shoulder section, has turned out pretty good. Okay, I'm now heading into one of the lower sections of the lorica. This is one of the lower quarters. As you can see, there is a lot to clean here. Generally speaking, when people come up to you, they want to touch the sides of the armour and want to see what it's made of, so that leaves marks. That's not a problem, that's all good. Lots to do here, and some brass polishing, hopefully, as well. And here is the finished result. You can see that I think I've done a good job here. All that brass has come up nicely, bit of polish still on there, and I've managed to get rid of all of that sort of surface level rubbish, muck, call it what you will. Anyway, so that's that half done, and my final quarter, I'm going to start that with a cup of tea right now. Okay, last quarter, last bit I need to do, and as you can see, a bit similar with the other quarter, that is to say, lots of rubbish that I need to scrub off, and some nice pieces here that hopefully come up with a bit of polish. And here I am. That's this side. That's a J in the background in case you can hear that. Bit noisy. What have you been watching me? So there we are. Looks pretty good. I've managed again bring up that brass quite nicely. And more importantly, take off a lot of the surface layer stuff. And I've given it a coat of polish, obviously, which means that will help protect it a bit more, even though I'm expecting to get lots of fingerprints on it from the school trip. Anyway, time for another cup of tea.